that week of payment was just ridiculous. It was like 6 months of income for most people that we got in one week, and got ourselves totally out of debt, have remained out of debt, and our business has taken off, and we don't really have to sell masks anymore, so we can do stuff that we like.
Okay, I want to back up for our viewers, because this is so much good stuff. So everybody, you got to think about this. Here's an entrepreneur that's just doing something for fun. Sometimes get an occasional blessing of $50 in a week. That's a hobby, right? And which of us haven't had those things that we want to do, and we're thinking, wait, I can make money at doing this?
The collaborative entrepreneur.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Collaborative Entrepreneur, the show where we aim to build your businesses by growing partnerships. That's what this is all about. I'm your host. My name is Tracy Curington. What is a collaborative entrepreneur, you might ask? Well, collaboration is something that's produced between two parties working together for the same thing, for the same result. An entrepreneur is just someone who's willing to take above normal risks in order to bring something, an idea that they have, bring it forward to organize and operate a business, or even businesses. There's such thing as a serial entrepreneur. Today on the show, I have with you an entrepreneur that is very close to me, and in fact, it's my mother. You know, I know, right? Like if you're starting out with a budding podcast, you're looking for guests, who else to pick but your mom? That's what I've chosen to do. But I've done it for good reason, because I think she's going to, actually, I know she's going to give us all kinds of great value today. But have you ever desired to delve into the mind of someone who appears to know what they're doing, to be going places, and discover how are they doing this? How are they getting this done? Well, in today's conversation, I'm going to be taking you on a journey with an entrepreneur who's growing her online Etsy store and learning as she goes along the way about what it's like to be a wife and a boss at the same time. That's going to be a cool one. What's it like to grow an online business through COVID? That's a big one. Also, I mean, and just taking her business to the next level, all because of COVID. She's the creator and designer of the majority of the products that she serves, where all her kind of somewhere floating around in her mind, and she created them. But even also as a leader along the way, a business owner along the way. There's so much that we're going to get to in this conversation. In fact, our conversation will take a look into her story, the backdrop of it, what motivates her in business right now, the wins and the learns along the way, what she's looking to do in the future. And I know she's going to share with you some great insights and lessons that she's learned from her entrepreneur journey that's going to help you in yours. So get yourself a cup of coffee. I've got mine. Right? Now, I don't think whenever I show you guys this, I never show you the backdrop. Let's see. The backdrop has, it's my Star Trek. It's old school, OG Star Trek. And anyway, so get your cup of tea, get you your, I don't know, soda water or just a beverage, have an ink pen, a notebook, and get ready, because I know this Patti Curington is going to add to us some great value today. So let's learn from our guest. Patti, Mom, welcome to the call today.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad to have you here. It is my pleasure to be hosting my mom on the show.
It is good to be here and be one of your guests.
Very good. Very good. Well, so my mom's not just on the show just because she's my mom. She's actually an entrepreneur, and I'm convinced that because of my mother and father's influence on me. By the way, my mom's still happily married. Her husband is out working today, but they have influenced me to be an entrepreneur just by their example, as I grew up in their household, and just seeing what they were always involved in more than just one thing. And they were probably involved with more things than they could get done at any one time. And yet somehow we survived. And so I think that's where I had my tendency towards a serial entrepreneurship. It's probably from them. And I can't wait for the guests to learn more about you, Mom, and what you've got going on. So can you provide for us just a little backdrop about, maybe as a child, where did you learn just a desire? When did you discover a desire in you to building a business or creating things at what you do now? give us a little layers to the onion.
Well, really, as a little girl, my grandma taught me all kinds of crafting type things. She was the one that taught me how to crochet and knit. And I remember one Christmas, I don't know, maybe I was 7, 8 years old, and I made everyone these coffee cans that had scrubbies that you turn them inside out, and it makes a decorative thing on the outside, and you put a plastic flower through it. That was like one of the first things I can remember that I made, and I gave to everyone for Christmas. Oh, of course they loved it, but who knows what happened to it.
Was that a coffee can? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 1 pound coffee can. Yeah. But anyway, I learned all of those things from my grandma. My mom sewed, but no one was actually, they didn't get into having a business of their own. They weren't entrepreneurs. My grandpa was a pastor, so of course, that's in business for yourself. But never did they take any of their passions and do a business with them. Even my parents didn't. So whenever we were in the ministry and we needed to have a little extra cash because all of you guys were in Christian school and every sport that came out, so we needed some extra cash. We started with the vending business, and I quickly found out that was not my passion. So I went to doing craft shows and getting into Coomer's Mall. That was all before online, and eventually went to online, which is so much better.
Yes, really. That's awesome. So I'm just taking back. So maybe we need to let our guests on the call know the business that you're in. So the business that you're in, you mentioned something about crafts. I do remember the trips to the mall, how boring that was to be in craft fairs, and we're looking for the nearest arcade as kids and stuff like that. But I do remember you making toboggan hats. I remember sweaters and scarves, and I remember Care Bears. Yep. They used to make, stuffing, making the arms and stuff like that and sewing them together. I remember a lot of the crafts that you made through that. So tell our listeners all of the crafting that you've learned as a little girl, from your first coffee can at Christmas time to what is it that you do right now?
Okay, from all of those, I was, I guess, more into the serial entrepreneur, where I just liked too many things. The crocheting and knitting, and sewing the Care Bears. I love doing that. I made dolls, the vintage type dolls that are decorative. And the more that I got into it, now the Care Bears was the first time I realized that, hey, I could actually put these in a store, because they were, remember Faye's drugstore up the road, they carried them in their store. So eventually, the dolls and the vintage and everything, the crocheting took a lot of time. So I needed to focus into something that was my passion, but yet more doable and not so varied, because once I got online, I wanted my shop to kind of carry the same things. I enjoyed doing the baby things because our family had so many. So I was able to do baby things, give them away, and that's just something I enjoyed. So now I navigated through all those rivers of what I wanted to do, what I could do better with my time. I set aside the crocheting to do as just something that I enjoyed, but didn't sell. You kind of have to have something like that in your life where it's not just a business. And then I focused on the baby things, and those took off. Now, masks were a huge thing in, of course, during COVID, and that catapulted our business. The masks weren't exactly my passion, but they gave me the foundation to do what I do now. So during COVID, when we were here, I was taking my hobby to a business. So I thought if I could do at the hobby stage, I was doing $50 a week, and man, that was great. We had a little extra cash to go out to eat or whatever. But then fast forward to today, where it's $1,200 to $1,500 a week. And so I have been able to make my hobby into a business where I enjoy what I do. During the mask season, that was the bridge to what I do now. And the orders came in not like something I was used to at all. And I remember going to TMC coaching and I remember standing there in the kitchen saying, it has gotten to where it is more than what we can do. And you said, so hire more people. So that had never been something we thought about. So we hired more people. And then that got to be, we're not getting these out. They're not getting done. People are wondering where their mask is. They think COVID will be over before they get their mask, which that was a joke. But I remember having like 300 and some orders outstanding at the time when we talked to you. And had we not been here and able to talk to you about it, TMC coaching, we would have stopped right then. We left it open at your advice and went on to 950 orders outstanding. And that week of payment was just ridiculous. It was like 6 months of income for most people that we got in 1 week, and got ourselves totally out of debt, have remained out of debt, and our business has taken off. And we don't really have to sell masks anymore, so we can do stuff that we like.
Okay, I want to back up for our viewers, because this is so much good stuff. So everybody, you got to think about this. Here's an entrepreneur that's just doing something for fun. Sometimes get an occasional blessing of $50 in a week. That's a hobby, right? And which of us haven't had those things that we want to do, and we're thinking, wait, I can make money at doing this? And then you start thinking about it, right? So she's gone from hobby to business. And prior to COVID, what do you think that you might have been making in a week's time?
Probably $50 to $100 of income that would come in that week. Sometimes we would have days where we didn't sell anything, and we would have just 2 or 3, 4 sales a week. And so $50 to $100, and that's not taking out what we spent on materials or whatever.
So that was just overall gross revenue, not your net, your bring home.
Right.
Okay. Then so obviously the viewer could figure maybe 35% for expenses, another 20% for taxes, whatever, and then you're left with 50% of that left. So maybe you're making $50 from 4 orders after everything's taken care of a week. That's $200 a month. I know there was a figure. I remember having this conversation, and I don't know what the figure was, but you guys were talking about, what if we could make this much money through this business every month? What was the idea? What was the thought on, hey, we might be able to make this much a month?
Yeah, that was, our goal at the time was about $400 a month. So $100 a week was our goal. And, sometimes we hit it, sometimes we didn't. And we thought, hey, if we had $400 to $500 a week just in this little business, wow, what we could do with that would take care of, I don't know, whatever extra income that we needed. At least we could survive and have, you put that with our Social Security or the job that he had at the time. And, we could be a little more comfortable. Yeah.
So I love this journey. This is going to blow somebody away here. So guys, listen, Patti and David, David's her husband, my father. they had this idea that they needed to make $100 a week, $400 a month is basically their goal. Sometimes they hit it, sometimes they didn't. Then they decided, what if, big, hairy, audacious goal, what if we could 5X it from $400 to $2,000? What if we could do $2,000 a month? What if we could do that? Wow. Okay, so going through COVID, in 1 week's time, you made a person 6 month, what they would make in 6 months. Now COVID settled down. You no longer have to make masks. I know some of the products maybe you can share with us a little bit later on that you're making now, and the things you like to do. The fun stuff is back now. You don't have to make the masks anymore. What would the typical week be like for it? Tell them also the name of your business.
Paisley Junction.
Paisley Junction. They can find you where?
On Etsy, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay, so Paisley Junction, you guys. We'll put something like that in the comments section on the post for the YouTube channel. That way you can remember her and everything, and she'll tell you more how you can get in touch with her at the end of the call. So $400 you're bringing in, $2,000 is the goal. You're not hitting that. COVID comes along, you get smacked around a little bit. You just hang with it. What are you doing? And by the way, that was 4 sales per week that you were looking to get. If you were going to get that, you'd have to do 20 sales per week, right? In order to hit the $2,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 20 sales. So the dream, by the way, survival doesn't sound much like a dream.
No,
Like you said,
not at all.
If we hit 2,000, we could survive.
Yeah.
Okay,
Different
so
mindset.
yeah, exactly, totally, and we're going to come to that too, because that's a great component of your journey. What is it that Paisley Junction brings in on the typical week now?
Typical week right now is around $1,400 to $1,600 a week.
Okay, so $1,600 a week and 4 weeks in a month. Did you ever think that you'd be bringing in $6,400 a month?
No.
Is that better than surviving?
Yes.
I already know the answer to this.
Better.
These are closed questions I'm asking you, but so guys, get this. So we're making $400 as a hobby. We can go as a business, and maybe we could bring in $2,000 and survive. And now they're bringing nearly that every week. And Christmas time is huge opportunities for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
When does the Christmas season begin for you guys?
We actually have decided to keep our stockings still on there, and we occasionally will get a stocking. And right now, when you're not in the mode to do it, and we get a stocking sale, we're like, oh, it's just, we have to dig everything out. But normally, we'll start seeing in about August, all of the overachievers will start buying, but it really starts getting blown away in October and November.
And when that comes in October, November, what kind of weeks will you have in October and November versus the 16th, the typical week?
Yeah, normally during that time, the amount that we sell in 1 week, we can get in a day. So if I sell 35, 40 items in a week, we have days where we sell that much in one day. So, 3,000, basically our income doubles. So we could have $3,000 to $4,000 a week.
That's incredible. Well, I want to say congratulations to you for that's just, and I know we're throwing the figures out because I think our viewers need to see, I may title this episode From Hobby to Business, because that's really what this journey is. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. The reason why yours was so appealing to me, your story, obviously you're my mom and I love you, and Dad, I love him. And just like the journey that you guys went through, I was there. I got to live it. I get to experience it. I get to breathe it. I get to sense the frustration, the fear, and all the things that go with every entrepreneur feels this. And then taking it from a hobby to now a business that typical average week could run $1,600 in a week, and then from August on the gas till the end of the year, maybe anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000. a week, which is just so incredible. And I just want to wish you congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What in that entire story that you shared with me, especially, you know, from just before COVID, I know you had some moving parts from being on one side of the country, moving to the Midwest where we are. What do you think would you describe as your proudest achievement through all that? What's your biggest accomplishment?
Through all of that, the biggest accomplishment would have been just the ability to adapt to it all. Because the mindset of, okay, I can do this and it's fun and everything. Okay, now I need to get a little bit better mindset on doing this as a business, maybe more thinking bigger. And that was something that I never did. If I'd go to the fabric store, I would, I'd get, 2 yards of fabric. Well, now we go and we buy a bolt and 2 if they have it, because we know we're going to use it, and having the confidence in what we sell, and trying to buy wholesale and things like that. Just when you're doing it as a hobby, you walk into a store and, oh, this looks cute, I'll get a little bit of this. But when you're a business, you may have to use the same store, but they know when you're coming that they're going to be at the cutting table for quite a while, because they're going to have to count up everything that you're, unroll every bolt and then roll it back up and sell the whole bolt to you. So
thank you.
It is a different mindset.
I appreciate you have to think bigger. I want to add, I may have shared this with you, but one of the things I learned from one of the sharks, Robert Herjavec, he said that, of course, and this guy's making, 9 figures a year, 8 figures a year. And he said, I would have accomplished more had I dreamed bigger.
Yeah.
And thinking is just so different. Describe your thinking back then. And it sounds like you're thinking like what you described in your business. You go in and order only the things you need. And now the expectation is different, where the belief is different. It's changed, where now I order what I expect to get rather than what I already got. Yeah. I got these orders I got, I'm gonna fill this order, that's all I need to buy. Now you're ordering for more. That shift, describe that shift. Was it different for you? Well, two questions, I guess. Describe it for you, and then how was your shift in thinking different from Dad's? Your husband?
Yeah, at first, when he wasn't as involved in it, it was, your little business that you have going on. And so going to buy the stuff was, I either had to figure out when I could go when he was at work, or have him drop me off so I could run in and get it. And when he was laid off because of COVID, and he had to start helping, then he had a little bit more interest in it. And especially when he saw what it could actually do. And now he's all in. In fact, at this moment, he's at Hobby Lobby getting all the fabric that I need. So the other thing was, still, when you buy it, you're spending money. So to go from thinking, okay, I gotta spend $50 at this store, and then I have to make sure that I can afford it, and then to go from that to, hey, we got out of here only spending $200. That's pretty good, So our thinking, and if we see it and we know that we're going to use it at some point, get it, and just rack up your airline miles. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Love it. I just did the calculation just to find out like what you did in revenue from what you used to do, from $400 to $6,400 on a typical week. Typical week hitting $400 a month. The typical month now, $6,400 a month. That's a 93.7% return.
Oh, wow. I never did that number.
Yeah. When you go from, like 94%, that is huge growth. You guys, that is phenomenal growth. And that's why we have entrepreneurs like this on, and these are real people. real people doing real business, have real concerns, real fears, real limiting beliefs, real competing commitments, and real prayers that they want to have answered. And I think that was one thing that I remember. I hope you don't mind me sharing, was when you guys said, pray with us about this business, that it would grow. And like, of course, the amount you wanted it to grow to was 2,000, right? So like, pray with us trying to grow. And I remember me and Dad having that conversation where, Dad, did you not pray for this? You prayed that it would increase. Exactly now right. You don't want it now that you prayed for it?
Yeah.
I remember him just
hard.
I mean, his elbows on his knees, just kind of hands together. I don't see how we're going to be able to do it. And you're able to do it.
Yep.
There was a lot of people. By the way, those on the call, they leveraged our seamstress from our local seamstress from our town. They leveraged children in the household. They leveraged people in other states just to meet the deadlines and the quota that you guys had. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So what do you do now, as far as now that, of course, the masks have been gone, now you guys have a different mindset going forward. You're settling into your business. You're thinking differently. What do you do to develop yourself and grow yourself at this point?
Well, just a lot of reading, studying, research. The internet has made it so much easier to research things than when I first started. But I have a podcast I listen to she is strictly in Etsy, and I can ask questions on there for that specifically. The masterminds that I've done with you, just anyone that encourages what you do. You can't be out there alone, which is where we were before. And when you're out there alone, then you don't get that encouragement that you need. So knowing there are other businesses out there and other ones that are trying to grow their business is very helpful, because it doesn't matter if you're in the same business or not, because the foundations are the same. Where you want to grow, you have to study and learn and research and just keep building.
That's awesome. I love that. So we had a group of ladies, property twins is what they call themselves, realtors, and they mentioned that one of the same things that you're talking about in the entrepreneur journey, don't go alone, develop partnerships, develop people, have a team. And I think probably the episode before then, that man just said you can't go alone. Find people that are speaking a language that you understand, that are encouraging you and supporting you, and don't go by yourself.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
It's I never realized how helpful the masterminds would be, but those have just been extremely helpful. And having someone that you can just like going to TMC coaching and saying, okay, this is what even though you yourself have never sewn a baby blanket,
right,
I can still glean from the information that you can give me. And that was the turning point that pivoted our hobby to a business.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, it's been my pleasure to be able to serve both you guys, and just to see, you guys have done all the work, but there's a lot of work, and you guys took up the challenge to adjust and alter your own thinking. And that is probably the most powerful thing outside of the revenue, the increase, all that, and like now the notoriety on Etsy and the other platforms that you guys are on. The shift in mindset, that's huge. That's a huge turning point. So then there's going to be times, no doubt, when you're going to get stuck, even since COVID and everything. When you feel stuck or when you feel overwhelmed, what's your go-to? How would you recommend somebody approach that as an entrepreneur?
Okay, being stuck, I step back and I look at the things that don't bring me joy to make. And I get rid of those. I purge some of the things that I have sitting around thinking, oh, I'll either list that or I'll sell it or make some more, whatever. And I have made some things that, you know what? I don't like making these. And Dad will say, well, then take it off. Don't make them anymore. And that is very freeing when I get stuck. Then I can move on to creating something new. Because I'm always, if I don't have the opportunity to create something new all the time, then I will get stuck. So I get rid of the old, bring in the new, and you have to keep up with trends anyway. So as far as being overwhelmed, I have the tendency to look at the big picture too much. So especially at Christmas time, when I see, you know what, we got 50 orders just today, and they added into the 100 that we already had. We have 150 outstanding orders. These people need these stockings before Christmas. Yeah. And then my voice of reason, Dad, will say, no, you can't look at it like that. One thing at a time. Keep your priorities. These are due out today, so these are the ones we're going to work on. Doesn't matter about the other ones right now. We just work on these. So that's when I get overwhelmed, I need to focus more on what is needful right now.
I think there's so much value that what you just gave in just the dynamic, and I know you didn't mention this, but like on your team, and that's so funny, like to think of Dad and you being his boss in this business, right?
Yeah.
But like, so you being the big picture thinker, and then him being the daily implementer. So I think one thing I've learned in business is that every business that's structured correctly will have a visionary, right? They're seeing the big picture, but they'll also have an integrator, somebody who's doing the day-to-day operations. If you had two visionaries, they're going to clash.
Yeah.
If you had two integrators, they're going to concern with all of this, but they're never going anywhere. Yeah. They're never going far because neither one of them is looking up from the sewing to say, hey, where are we going anyway? Where are we taking this business? Yeah. Like, that's a great dynamic, and that's great truth for when you start as an entrepreneur, when you start developing your team, look for those that have the gifts and the strengths that you don't possess yourself.
Yeah.
And even though it's going to make you feel uncomfortable to know, I mean, like, it wouldn't be great. Everybody's surrounded by people that just agree with me. They love the same things I do. Yeah, that's what friends are for. Yeah. But colleagues and surrounding yourself with better people that think differently on certain things than you do. I think it's yes and. I think you need both. I think you're great at big picture thinking. He's great at boots on the ground. And that's what makes you guys such a great team. That's absolutely. I want to pull that principle out. It's a good one.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. It's he doesn't care about listening to the podcast, which, he's not going to listen to a bunch of women talk about Etsy. That's, no, he just wants to get the project done. Yeah. And so it does leave me the time to learn more and be able to, move us forward.
Yeah, so you don't get stuck because you're creating the same things. You now have opportunities to create new stuff, new product lines. Yeah. So then, if there were one principle that, like, people that know you, they know, like, how, like, if you've ever, like, when you were naming us as kids, maybe you knew a Tracy, or maybe you heard just the name and it's registered, but there's probably other names that you could have named your kids, and you and Dad, when you guys got together, you're like, no, we ain't calling him George because there was a George in class. He was an idiot and he smelled. Like, there's like a quality about other people that is housed just by their name, and you would never name your dog or your kids that name because of the characteristics that come along with the name. So when somebody thinks about Patti, what is something like a principle that you've applied to your life so that when they think about you, they can't help but think about that principle?
Of course, I don't know for sure because I'm not in anybody's head. Thank the Lord, because that would be rough. But as far as what I've tried to apply to my life is to being faithful, of course, to the Lord and in His service, but then also to be dependable for others. And you know how I am about people.
Yeah.
But I do love my people, and other people, I still want to be dependable for them and follow through with whatever has been asked of me. So with being online, I still have to apply that, because someone may not like what they got. Okay, I want to fix it and make it right for them. They spend a lot of money on this, and I want them to have what they expected. And there may be some that I really would like it to be this, but can you do this and this? And I spent half the morning talking with different people that they decided to change their mind and they wanted this instead, and that's fine. That's what we do. I just want to be able to follow through and give them what they want.
I love that. Dependability is something that's missing. Can I count on you? Will you be there? Will you help me get what I want in life? And I love the customization that your business offers, because who doesn't want to see their name? I mean, we all enjoy seeing our name. We like to see it in lights. We like to see it, even if I was in the movie industry, see it in the rolling credits. Hey, there's my name. There's my name. See it in the newspaper, see it in a magazine, and then see it embossed on a towel or a Christmas blanket or a stocking that's hung by the chimney with care, right? We like to see that. I love the fact that you guys have that ability to customize. Well, can you do this on it? Could you put this scripture reference? Could you put this our football team together, or whatever, prints or whatever? I've seen some of your product line. That's really good that you can help people get what they want. And that's Zig Ziglar had a philosophy that you help enough people get what they want, and they'll help you get what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I find that to be true as well. So what would be the trait that you would want to learn most right now? You spoke into about how that it's a good thing that you're always looking for new product lines and stuff like that, because things trend, and there's a time when something from the time you guys used to have the business where you sold toys and stuff like that.
Yeah, on eBay.
As it was trend, the eBay business. We had trendy items that went out and now they're not selling anymore, or whatever. What is the one trait that you feel like now is the most important thing for you to learn in your Etsy business?
Just to take from Grant Cardone's 10X rule is embrace change, because that is one of the things that I always struggle with, because if it's working, then why do I need to change it? And I think you said one time, but could it work better? And yeah, it can. So it is really hard to embrace change, because it means I have to learn something new. And then I start feeling overwhelmed. So that is one trait, though, that is so important, because if you don't embrace change, then your competitors will go and see the new stuff coming, or they'll learn how to do TikTok before you do, and then all their stuff's going to be on there. So you still have to go with the change.
That's a good one. So so somebody's listening to this call right now. They're a young person possibly, or maybe they're older and they're maybe they're in a retirement stage of their life. They're thinking, I'll never be able to retire, but I have this hobby, something that I'd love to do, I'd love to bring forward. Either way, age being irrelevant, they're looking to go into business for themselves. They're looking to start their entrepreneurial journey. What advice would you give them that would help them to prepare for that journey?
Just especially if you're young and just learning it, whatever you have seen a passion for, just build on that. And if you're older,
I found this on the web.
Okay, my web is Siri's trying to help me answer the question.
Nice.
But even older, that age doesn't matter, especially when you're doing online business. Just start researching, and whatever it is, whatever hobby it is that you have, then start researching. Is it something that is wanted? There's so many people out there. It doesn't matter if there's a lot of competition, because there's more people than there are competition. So just start building on what it is, and if you're older, then you really need to do it now, and not wait. If anything that you are procrastinating for the future, when you're not going to do it. I've known people who say, "Oh, I would love to do so and so someday." Well, you won't ever do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Someday and eventually are not days of the week.
Nope.
Yeah. I wrote down on that, like, advice for that journey. You mentioned about research. So developing your own skills and researching, what's working in the marketplace and so forth. But I remembered that line, winners don't compete anyway. They
Yeah,
dominate. I
that's
mean,
true.
like, there's 8 billion people on planet Earth. I mean, don't look at your competitors, what they're doing. I mean, maybe as a model, a structure, what not to do, or some of the things they're doing, but how can you make it better? Where you're not competing with them, you're dominating, because they're vanilla ice cream, you're rocky road.
Yeah.
Love
Absolutely.
that. So then, where can people find you again? Where if they wanted to connect with you, if they want to shop your store, how do people get in touch with you?
On Etsy, it is now Etsy or PaisleyJunction.etsy.com.
PAI?
Yeah, PAISLEY junction.etsy.com. And then on Facebook, just look up Paisley Junction, Instagram, the same thing, and TikTok.
Awesome. Love that.
And go on there and click like on all of them. Follow us.
Absolutely. Great stuff. I thank you so much, Mom, for being on the call with me. I'm so excited about Paisley Junction and what the future holds for it. And by the way, thank you all those who tuned in and stayed with us through this call. I appreciate you indulging me and my mother, right?
Yes.
By the way, those that are following TMC Coaching, thank you for that. That's an honor to serve you. You can learn more about me, what I do, at tmccoaching.org online. Or if you'd like more information about what I do and what I can do specifically for you, how we might be able to work together, I would love for you to hit me up at tracy@tmccoaching.org. That's my email address. And that way I can get you on my calendar. We can have a little discovery, clarity call is what I call them, to where I can explore how I might be able to serve you. But until next time, y'all, surround yourself with great people like Patti, who can elevate your thinking and inspire you to dig deep and do more. Until next time, we'll talk to you then.
On behalf of Tracy, thank you for watching this episode of the Collaborative Entrepreneur Podcast. Be sure to like this video and turn on notifications for future episodes coming out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to learn more about Tracy and the work that he does, you can find us at 180turnarounds.com. Also on all social media platforms under 180 Turnarounds. If you want to get in touch with Tracy about being on the Collaborative Entrepreneur Podcast, you can do so by emailing us at tracy@tmccoaching.org. Let us know the industry that you're in, as well as some wins and learns that you've had along the way. So until next time, let's win together.